Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for our guest tonight, Mike Breen.
This is a dirty story. This is a dirty story about having it being sex. I'm only going to say that word once. So from now on, when I say it, I mean... Marty and Janine decided to have it one night. They decided they would have it on the train tracks. They couldn't do it at their parents' houses anyways. Both sets of parents were always home because they didn't have any hobbies or friends. Their mothers and fathers were nice people. They just weren't interesting enough to get invited to things. Sometimes, when the kids weren't home, the parents would have it. But tonight was Marty and Janine's turn to have it. Marty and Janine were both 15 years old. It was one of the things they had in common that made them so close. Marty was 5'3", but he hit puberty late, so realistically, he could get to 6 feet tall if he kept getting 8 hours of sleep. Janine was a smart girl, but not too smart. She was the 23rd smartest person in her grade. Her class had over 500 students in it, so she was doing fine. But there was no goddamn way she was getting into Duke. Marty and Janine had become pretty close in the last 4 months. They developed a meaningful relationship, but were also pretty realistic about it. They knew that statistically the odds of 15-year-olds staying together were pretty small, so they were just trying to have a good time. That's why they decided to have it on the train tracks. Janine also thought it would be good to have it for practice. She wanted to be a pro at having it by the time she got to college. Marty would sometimes tell Janine that he didn't think he would get into college. Then Janine would have to remind him that he could go to community college, a fact that Marty always was forgetting about. Janine was kind of annoyed. She always had to repeat that. A big reason Marty and Janine decided to do it in the train tracks was just for the story. They knew that it wouldn't be very good the first time they do it. And nobody is ever good at something the first time they do it. So they thought at least having it on the train tracks would be a good story to repeat to someone later in life. Maybe even a song could be sung about it. The old steel train tracks ran from Buffalo to Rochester. Four trains ran a day on that track. 10:15, 12:45, 2:20, and 4:30 only on weekends. Marty and Janine planned on having it at night, so there was no way a train would kill them. They were totally safe. The tracks were originally laid in 1905 as part of the Empire Corridor and updated in 1978 to handle the more modern trains in the States. New track is actually being laid next year in 2017. For more details, go to Amtrak.com. When Marty and Janine met at the tracks that night, Janine wore a white polo and navy slacks, her school uniform. Marty and Janine's school, North Brunswick High School, had just begun to allow women to wear slacks instead of skirts, and nobody took bigger advantage of this rule than Janine. She was a slacks girl, and she was proud of it. Marty wore his dad's suit, and boy, was that a sight. Marty's dad was 3'2", and the suit was too small even for Marty's tiny little 5'3" frame. Janine never mentioned how ridiculous he looked because she wasn't mean. The two met on the train tracks and they kissed, and then some more stuff happened. I don't want to get into it because that's their business and that's between them. All I'm going to say is they definitely had it. Neither of them got to the climax part. Marty said he was too nervous, and Janine said she never planned on it in the first place. But for them, it wasn't ever about it being good, or funny, or anything. It was about the story. and now they had that forever. Janine somehow ended up getting into Duke. She wore slacks every day. She majored in trains and now owns most of the train tracks in the United States. Marty is now a train conductor, and he sometimes rides over those very tracks where he and Janine first had it. But he doesn't think about that much anymore, because a few years later, in that exact spot where he first had it, his train ran over a cow and smashed it to pieces. The graphicness of the cow murder stands out to him more than the time he had sex with Janine. Once in a while, they think about each other. Not in a good way, but in that way before bed, when your brain is trying to self-sabotage you. So on that note, I leave you with this, Duke University. Don't overthink stuff. Not everything has to have meaning. Just do what you want and have a good time. Things will wrap themselves up. And guys, have a good summer.
Give it up one more time for Mike Breen.